is also the subject of a new documentary, Iverson, that airs Saturday, May 16th on Showtime at 9 p.m. Pleased to have the 4-time NBA scoring champion and 11-time NBA All-Star, Allen Iverson, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, AI?
Hey, man, what's going on?
I am doing fine. So when you hear those moments from your playing career, what do you think, Allen?
I don't know, just flashbacks, chill bumps. You know how I go.
Sure.
It's just a great feeling, man. It just brings back a lot of memories.
Allen Iverson, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. So here in Los Angeles last night, the Clippers had a 13-point lead going into the fourth quarter, Allen. Before we get to your documentary, talk a little bit about what's going on in the playoffs right now. And the Rockets hit them with a 24-2 run. Were you ever on something like that with a comeback, anything where your backs were against the wall in your playing career and a performance like that comes out of nowhere? Did anything like that ever happen with you, Allen?
Never. I mean, especially of that magnitude. You know what I mean? A game that big where they could have got closed out. And to show that much heart and desire, dedication, it was incredible, man, especially against a great team like the Clippers. So,
yeah, where do you put Chris Paul in the ladder of point guards right now?
I mean, it's so many. You can name a lot of point guards, the best point guard in the league, because there's so many great ones. But he's definitely right up there at the top. Man. He's so tough on both ends of the court. He plays with a lot of heart and passion, dedication. I mean, I love Chris Paul.
And in many ways, you know, he's not even mentioned in the MVP race as just
right.
in terms of best in the league.
That's crazy.
Do you think that that's a point guard bias in a way, Allen?
No, I wouldn't say that. Because Steve Nash won it back-to-back. So I definitely wouldn't say that.
Okay, so why do you think it's tough for somebody like Chris Paul to break through?
I don't know. I mean, you know, he's accomplished so much in his career. I mean, he's done so many great things. But obviously that's just not something God wants on his resume as of yet.
Allen Iverson joining me here on The Rich Eisen Show. LeBron, many people think he's the best ever. I mean, putting him above Jordan and above everyone else that's come before him. Where do you stand on that subject, Allen?
I mean, I know he's great. I love him as a person and as a player. But I think that's taking it a little too far. I mean, Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. And I think LeBron probably would agree. You know what I mean? But just for him being mentioned with him, you know, tells you how special LeBron James is.
And what about Tim Duncan, who is 40 days older than you, Allen, as you and I are currently speaking and seeing what he is doing right now? Right. What are your thoughts on Duncan and how he's still balling?
I mean, he's blessed. He's blessed. He takes care of himself, obviously. He's well coached. And, you know, he plays the game with everything he has, and he's so smart. You know what I mean? He's been there. He's done that. He's seen everything. And I think that's what enables him to be so great. But it's a tribute to how hard he worked over his career to be at this point.
Allen Iverson joining me here on The Rich Eisen Show. His documentary, Iverson, airs Saturday, May 16th on Showtime at 9 p.m. What do you hope that people get out of this documentary when they see it, Allen?
Not just kids, but, you know, people in general, just to be inspired. You know, a lot of people run into roadblocks in their life, and, you know, a lot of times people give up once they hit those roadblocks. And it's just an inspiration, just showing people that, you know, you can overcome any type of obstacle in your life to fulfill whatever dream you have.
What was the biggest roadblock you overcame?
Making it out of the projects. You know, with all of the things that went in my way that could stop me from fulfilling my dreams, everything that got in my way, I was able to fight through them and believe in myself, believe in God, and understand that I could overcome them.
I mentioned this earlier on the show. I got to SportsCenter in 1996, sitting there with Stuart Scott pretty much every night. And so, and I was there till 2003. And of all the athletes that I was covering and talking about, you have to be in the top 5 of the people that were making headlines by scoring and then holding press conferences, et cetera, et cetera. And it all started in many ways of you being the first Hoya to leave college early under John Thompson. I remember what an uproar there was a little bit that you, despite your obvious talents, decided to leave and go to the NBA. And now we're seeing 7 Kentucky Wildcats do the same at the same time in the same press conference. And I'm wondering what you think of now that you see it so commonplace what you did back in 1996, Alan.
I mean, the way I look at it is, it's what's best for the person, and his family. Obviously, before you make a big decision like that, obviously you sit with the people that you love, the people that care about you, and, you come to a decision. So, when I see these things happen, I understood where I was at that point in my life and what my family was going through, so I don't judge. You know what I mean? I just hope for the best and wish everything goes right for those people.
And what did John Thompson say to you at the time?
Yeah, his whole thing was for me to go take care of my family. I explained to him my reason for leaving, and he didn't hesitate with telling me to, do what I felt that I needed to do was right.
And then you went ahead and you won Rookie of the Year. And then another moment when I was sitting at the desk at SportsCenter, I remember my phone rings, and they say, turn on Allen Iverson's press conference right now. He's talking about practice. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I watched it. And in your documentary, there's a portion about this, that something was going on in your personal life at the time. I'd love for you to walk through what was going on with you and what led you to have that all-time famous moment.
That's for you to watch. That's why people need to watch the documentary. That's what it's for. I'd be letting the cat out of the bag if I told that. That's a main part in the documentary, because I get so upset sometimes by being defined from an interview that everybody doesn't know exactly what happened and how it went down. So that's one thing you need to watch the documentary for.
So you'd like to keep it as a tease for the documentary as opposed to letting the cat out of the bag, right?
Not really a tease, but it's something else added to the documentary that makes the documentary what it is.
Mm-hmm. Allen Iverson joining me here again. That documentary, Iverson, premieres Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Showtime. Many people think you were a better NFL football player, Allen. I've heard that. I've read that you were actually better at football than basketball back in the day. Is that true? Would you agree?
Rich, if I tell you that, you're not going to believe it anyway.
Why would that? I wouldn't put anything past you. Are you kidding me?
I'm telling you, I was definitely a better, I think I am now, better football player than I was basketball. Basketball was my second love.
Okay.
Football was my first love. I always thought I would be at NFL basketball, and obviously some things changed in my life, and I wanted to play football as bad as I wanted to play basketball, but obviously watching the documentary, you'll find out why I didn't play football, and it still haunts me today. I still think about it, but I'm glad that God put me in the position that He put me in to play basketball.
So you would have been the first slash in a way. You'd have been the first, I guess, 3,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher in the history of the National Football League. Allen, is that what you're 4,000 yards? How many yards?
I don't know, Rich. I mean, I just wanted to be blessed with the opportunity to make it to the NFL, same as basketball.
I mean, I'm just trying to, put it up there.
I don't know what position I would have played.
What do you think?
I would have hoped to play quarterback.
Okay. And then pull the ball down and taken off. I mean, what was your 40 time? What would your 40 time have been?
In high school?
Yeah, sure.
I was running like a 4.3, 4.4 in high school. So obviously I probably would have got faster.
So maybe you'd have been an Odell Beckham type guy back.
I don't know. You put me in a big class, a top class now.
Allen, now listen. I mean, you're as elite as they come. You're as an elite athlete. I mean, you're Player of the Year your junior year, Allen. I mean, that's.
I just thought I would have been. I thought I would have been special. That's that's another reason. I would love for people to watch the documentary so they can see those type of things and those highlights for them to be able to judge themselves.
Did you have you been hearing? I mean, the free world's been talking about it, about Tom Brady's suspension. Have you heard about this? The 4 games.
Yeah.
What do you think, Alan?
I don't. I'm waiting to see how it all plays out. I don't judge anyone. I don't, you know what I mean? Because I've had it done to me so much, you know what I mean? So I can understand what he's going through being in his shoes, you know, with people judging and everybody not knowing the circumstances and knowing all of the evidence. You know what I mean? So I just leave it alone. I see that it's sad. It's not good for the fans. It's not good for him. I would hate to see for him to go through something like that. But we'll just see how it all play out.
Yeah, because, you know, I've been thinking about it, Alan, and sometimes I sit there and I think we're not talking about steroids. We're not talking about just purposely blatant cheating. We're talking about PSIs. You know what I mean? Not that we're talking about PSIs. That's what I'm thinking. See where I'm trying to lead you here, Alan?
Exactly.
You know where I'm trying to lead you here, right?
I know where you're getting that, man. You're not going to get me to go there.
Oh, come on. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, you know what? I just tried. You can't blame a man for trying. Right, Alan?
Yeah.
Last question.
You were slick with it, though.
Hey.
Real slick with it, but you can't slick a slickster.
Last question, Alan. I'd love to give you the floor on Stewart. I know Stewart really, really liked you a lot and admired your game and was always talking about you, bragging about you as well. And I'd love to give you the floor talking about Stuart Scott and your recollections of meeting him and knowing him, Alan.
I remember when I first I was going through everything with the do-rags and the cornrows and this, that, and the third. And I remember him at my locker one day, and, you know, me and him was talking, we was laughing and talking about sports and everything, and he was like, why do they give you so much flack over your do-rag? You know what I mean? He was like, you know, my kids, you know, my daughters lay their hair down or whatever, and they wear do-rags around the house, you know what I mean? And it's no big deal. You know, no one judges them. And I just remember that moment with him, you know, telling me about that do-rag. And he was just a strong man, and mentally tough, and meant so much to us and was so much of an inspiration as far as everything that he went through. And then when you think about Stewart, you think about all of the things that we go through in life and the way he fought, you know what I mean, the way he fought for his girls and the way he fought for us and the people that really, truly love him and care about him. He was just a stand-up guy, man, and he would always be remembered. He will always be loved. He was one of those guys. He was one of those great men.
That he was, Alan. Hey, listen, if you're ever out in Los Angeles, I'd love to have you here personally in studio.
All right, Rich. Thanks, man.
You bet. Good luck with the documentary.
All right, bro.
You bet. That's Allen Iverson. Premieres Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.